This is Sumit Roy here. Today I'm going to speak on existential crisis. Existential crisis is a subject matter that is being spoken a lot, and of course it has its own relevance. And it got its importance during the Second World War, when people were being tortured and in the jail. They thought that what we can do with our life. And then of course time has flown by, and to a large extent we all gone into work. The objective of developing this particular talk and producing a video is I'm trying to understand that what existential crisis means in this contemporary world. Of course we all go through our existential crisis. It is not that people, a man at the age of 40 or 45 or 50, they go through certain kind of an existential crisis. But of course it happens through even for the students, for the teenagers. So I was thinking that what probably can help us to really come out of this existential crisis. Now let us understand, it's a crisis about time. It is a crisis about doing something. It is a crisis of meaning. It is a crisis of able to put ourselves across in a proper way. And that actually multiplies and that accumulates, and we feel that there is nothing to do. And you end up getting frustrated and then getting depressed. And if it continues, then it can become quite debilitating, and probably we become just narrowed down to our whatever we have, and we are unable to expand ourselves. I'll just give you certain points through which we'll be able to come out of this kind of a crisis. First, let us understand that life is a series of a choice, and at any point I can make a decision, and there is a choice points from where I can make a point where I can actually come outside. So that is the first point of understanding that yes, there is a crisis, and there is a Shakti, or there is a power inside me, and I can use that and I can come out of my crisis. So first thing, one has to really understand that yes, it is with me, and it is something that is common, and it is something that is okay with. But the only thing is that I need to understand this philosophy of school of existentialism was given by great philosophers like Jean-Paul Sartre, where Jean-Paul Sartre talks about two modes of living, or two beings. One is in itself, another is for itself. In itself talks about where something is quite passive, something which is concrete, and we continue to be in that particular state irrespective of whatever is happening. And for itself is something where it is fluid and where it is dynamic, and we can come out of that. So one has to really understand that am I in the state of in itself, that way things are as it is, or am I able to really come out in terms of for itself? So for, that means for something that I am actually getting into. The moment I understand that for something that I am getting into, I am out of my existential crisis. Okay, the third point is that when actually we are going through a crisis, then it is a kind of a provisional existence. That means it is something that I am into a provision, and it is not something that is beyond that particular provision. And I get into a crisis when I cannot see the something beyond my provisional existence. That means my given time and mind, it gets stuck in a given provision, in a given time and space. But I know that this is not something that I'm stuck, but I can come out of this. The moment I have a perspective, the larger perspective, then I am able to really come out of that existential crisis. The next point talks about that man at any point of time and a situation is the maker of his own destiny at any point of time. It is not about age. It is not about a situation. At any point of time, I can take a decision that yes, it is up to me. And if it is to be, then it is up to me. Up to me. The moment we take this particular decision, it is up to me, then I am able to really manifest something that can happen, because it is something like this, that whatever I picturize, I can actualize. So if I picturize something positive, if I picturize something which is of a longer perspective, larger perspective, I can really come out of that. So man, of course, has that particular being, and that being has to get manifested, and that is the power. The next point talks about where able to gauge the opportunity. Today the world is of opportunity. This is an opportunity world. The moment I'm seizing the opportunity, it multiplies. So it's like a mind shift. I need to flick my mind and shift my mind, not for my present situation, which is a crisis, but to a larger point where there are a lot of multiplicity of opportunity. The moment I'm focusing on that opportunity, it multiplies. And that is something where things really comes into play, where things really takes place. Life demands hard work. Life demands daily dose of peak experiences. And one way of tackling this existential crisis is to have a loving moments, learning moments, and aha moment. If my daily routine has a peak experiences, it has lovable moments, it has some enchanting moments, there I can really come out. And it requires a lot of will. That's what Friedrich Nietzsche's doctrine is, will to power. That willingness has to really come into display. And man is not known by his position, but by his disposition. It is the attitude that makes a lot of difference. So if I'm able to work on my attitude, I think a lot of things comes into play, and a lot of things happens. It's a matter of a choice at any point of time. So it is a kind of a process where I'm able to find certain kind of meaning through peak experiences. And last point I would like to make is that there's a lot of abundance, and abundance is not something that we acquire. Rather, abundance is something that we tune into. Now, that is again a mind shift. That I know that there is a kind of a crisis that I'm going through, and I'm very limited. But my unlimited self, that is called as an Atman, can actually expand if I shift my mind to the abundance. So I need to tune to the abundance and not tune to the scarcity. And that is something called as an abundance mentality. And the moment we do it, then it becomes a habit. Then it becomes more like our own nature. And the more we are able to really cultivate this over a period of time, we are able to understand that things are taking shape. And one more point, generally, where we get into a crisis is basically our defenses. We have a lot of defenses, and we tend to understand the world through our own defenses. And if you're able to rationalize those defenses, and if you're able to really understand that it is not defense that is going to work, but it is basically the reality, and my openness and my transparency by which I'm able to relate to the world can make a lot of difference. So friends, if you're able to follow this simple principles, there are ways one can actually come out of the existential crisis and make a lot of leverage out of your own self, where actually you are meant to. And that's how we can make and create a fantastic life out of your own self. An important point to make is that to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances can make a fantastic change. Okay, I repeat, to choose one set of attitude in a given set of circumstances. If I'm able to set my attitude, if I'm able to choose my right attitude, I think that the ball is in my court, and then I can play the way I want it. So it is like a self-reference system, not other reference system. That is one. And then there is a self which has to be actualized. And the moment we keep on understanding that it is that self that has to be actualized, and I need to keep on working on that, then things really happens. So I cannot see myself as inert, passive, rather it is dynamic and in my control. And the moment I'm able to do this kind of a shifting, and I'm able to make a change. Thank you.